News is that more students are considering going to college?
Exactly, and that's what the College Board, that's really what they want to focus on, that, there's more students taking it, and that can only be a good thing. But, there's another side to this thing, too, because there are some schools or colleges and universities that are moving away from requiring SAT or ACT results for admission.
We're speaking with Tonnell Hobbs of the Wall Street Journal. It looks like there's quite a difference between math scores and the reading and writing numbers.
That's a good point. And there's always been a struggle with math, even on the ACT, and math points always are lower. It's really, and they use that to determine who's ready for college-level algebra. And as you can see, there's that percentage is typically right in under 50%.
As you mentioned, some colleges are no longer using the SAT or ACT in considering students who applied. Why is that?
Well, this is something, it's been kind of a trend in these recent years. And what these schools tell us is that to take away those admission requirements, it kind of levels the playing field, especially for underrepresented students who aren't typically, they might be first in their family to go to college, who might not score well on the exams, and they believe that levels the playing field. I tell you, there is a movement for that, and it's been quite surprising as more and more school districts go to that method of not using these standardized test results.
Wall Street Journal reporter Tonnell Hobbs. It's coming up on 30 minutes after the hour on This Morning, America's First News.
I'm not a big talker. I am a big doer. But sometimes the only way to solve the problem is to get on the horn and figure it out. So the only people I like talking to? Grainger. With knowledgeable product experts, ready with the answers to my toughest questions, calling Grainger is the one conversation I don't mind having. From machining and motor parts to valves and vacuum pumps. When it comes to solving my problems, Grainger's got my back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Michigan is one of the best places in the country to do business. But you don't have to take our word for it. Take Patty Poppies, President and CEO of Consumers Energy, instead.
All of the innovation that's occurring around robotics, AI, it's happening here in Michigan. We have chemical companies, we have pharmaceutical companies, we have medical device manufacturers. Michigan is a magnet for innovators and dreamers.
Big things are happening in business here. Find out why by searching Michigan Pure Opportunity.
America's First News is online all the time. Follow us on Twitter @ThisMorningShow. Like us on Facebook or send us an email thismorning@compassmedianetworks.com.
On this Wednesday, September 25th, Jennifer Kashinka in for Gordon Deal, along with Rasa Kay. Some of our top stories and headlines. House Speaker Pelosi has announced a formal impeachment inquiry, saying President Trump's growing Ukraine scandal marks a breach of his constitutional responsibilities. Tropical storm Karen brings heavy rain to Puerto Rico. A submarine carrying $165 million worth of cocaine has been captured by the Coast Guard. Placido Domingo quits the Met after harassment allegations. And the Internet's blinking white guy has a good cause. Find out what that is in about 20 minutes. This business update is brought to you by the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. The businesses of the future are being built today, and Michigan is where they start. Learn more by searching Michigan Pure Opportunity. Go back to work or stay home and care for the kids. For most women, it's an economic choice they're forced to make. Andrew Keshner of Market Watch wrote about one single mother in South Carolina who's had a tough go lately and joins us now. Andrew, what issues was this woman facing?
As you said, Jennifer, is can I afford to go to work and still pay for daycare? If I can't, I'm just going to stay home and raise my kids. And what she was forced to do, she had some odd jobs, here and there, on and off in between things, but her wages actually slipped from the start of when she had kids to now, because she had to keep, jumping back to new jobs.
Take us a little bit more specifically into her journey. What exactly was she doing?
Well, basically, it started back in the mid-2000s, and she had a great starter job over at Comcast doing customer support, turned into sales. She had a base salary, benefits, and then commission on her sales. And then she had a child, and she had to game out the costs. She actually started with an arrangement with her mom where her mom would work a night shift and then come over and watch her daughter while she went to work, but that started not to work out for her mom, and so she needed to look at daycare prices, and the cheapest things were about at least $400 a month, and this is back in 2000, mid 2000s, and she just decided to stay home and work from home instead without benefits.
Do you think her story is unique in any way?
Not at all. There was a recent study, I think from the Center for American Progress. It's a left-leaning think tank, but they said the number of parents who have to make some sort of work choice because of daycare is about 2 million. Any parent will tell you that daycare costs are rising and it's not getting any better. In fact, Kimberly lives in the South where prices are on the whole the cheapest in the nation, about $17,000 according to one estimate yearly. That's on 2 kids, but $17,000 is not cheap by any stretch at all.
We're speaking with Andrew Keshner of MarketWatch. Andrew, is there any thumbnail on how much families should spend on daycare?
The Department of Health and Human Services says advises that families shouldn't spend more than 7% of their monthly income on child care. But as I said, any parent will hear that number and have a big bitter laugh at that, because I defy you to find a daycare cost for a month that will cost just 7% of an income.
Andrew, are there government programs to help, or is all preschool private in most areas?
No, there are. There's certainly subsidized child care programs. I'm not exactly sure how the money flows into the program, if it goes to the parent or if it goes to the program and then the program reaches out to parents. But there certainly are subsidies out there. In fact, I think in one of the recent budget deals between the Trump administration and congressional Democrats, an increase in daycare allowances might have been on the table as part of the equation. So they're certainly there, but actually, according to one estimate, about 4% of low-income families are taking advantage of these, and in South Carolina, where Kimberly lives, it was about 3%.
We certainly know that the labor market has been extremely tight, and we keep hearing that everybody has jobs, but we're also understanding that many people are either underemployed or part of the gig economy where they're just not getting the benefits.
That's right. Yeah, and it's interesting to think of it that way, because here we are where, as you said, employers are dying to find fill jobs, but the big question is what's the pay and what's the benefits, and can the pay make up enough that it makes financial sense for families to send their kids to daycare.
Thanks, Andrew. Andrew Keshner of MarketWatch. It's 20 minutes before the hour on This Morning, America's First News. Jennifer Kashinka in for Gordon Deal. It's time to go beyond the headlines. This morning's Mike Gavin is here with a look at some of the other stories he'll be talking about this morning.
Good morning. Well, just like that, before we even got to know it, Jen, it's gone. I'm, of course, talking about pumpkin spice Spam, a concoction widely mocked when it was announced about a month ago. It's sold out and may never come back again. According to Fox News, it took only 7 hours for the limited edition Spam to sell out through Walmart.com and Spam.com. Despite the fervor, the company released a statement saying that they don't have any plans to make any more of the stuff, but added that they are always keeping an eye out for new flavors and varieties that will resonate with Spam fans. Fortunately, anyone looking for another way to get their pumpkin spice fix will still have plenty of options. Unfortunately, there have also been some pumpkin spiced fake-outs as well. You remember we told you in mid-August, Busch Beer pulled a fast one by posting an image to social media of a pumpkin spice latte-flavored hard seltzer with a mind-numbing 17% alcohol by volume. That fall-flavored White Claw knockoff turned out to be a fake that the company meant to be a joke.
Why? Why did they even bother?
Why? And get people talking about it, I guess.
All right. I can see different flavors for Spam. Mm-hmm. Maybe like bacon Spam or like some other meat, but pumpkin never works. That's just
never
not
works.
Right.
Never works on meat or just in general, just the whole pumpkin thing in general.
Oh, but some pumpkin things work, like
yeah.
muffins or something.
Yeah.
But Spam, no.
Not on meat so much.
I'm not surprised they're not bringing it back.
Well, there are many thousands who would disagree with you and are cooking up their Spam for breakfast.
No, they're
this
not
morning.
eating it. They're saving it to sell it on eBay or something and make money.
That is true. You're probably right about that.
Yeah.
And if you, like Sammy Hagar, just can't drive 55 or even 65, it may be because of your choice of music. A new Chinese study says motorists drive faster and more erratically when listening to fast music. Volunteers in a simulator changed lanes about 70 times an hour when listening to light music or none at all, but those listening to faster rock music switched lanes 140 times. They also drove up to 10 miles per hour faster. The authors of the study, carried out by the South China University of Technology, say that the findings could be incorporated into lessons to warn young drivers of the risks, though they also say their conclusions would first have to be corroborated by real-life driving and crash data. Another study suggested that the song American Idiot by Green Day at 189 beats per minute was the most dangerous song to drive to, with Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin the safest at 63 beats per minute.
That'll put you to sleep, that song.
Yeah, see, I feel like there might actually be something to this, because I listen to mostly talk radio and sports talk radio in the car,
right.
And I've been told that I'm kind of a slow driver. That I'm not the most aggressive driver. Maybe it's because of my music.
This makes perfect sense.
I do feel like when I put a nice upbeat song on, a hard rocking song, I do feel like I kind of get pumped up a little bit. Maybe I'm a little more aggressive.
Yeah, and
there.
your feet start tapping, and it presses the gas down a little bit harder
without even knowing it.
Yes,
you're putting more gas in. Yep.
Yeah, no surprise there. Yep. It's 12 minutes before the hour on This Morning, America's First News.
Dell has something extra for small businesses, up to 45% off during their semi-annual sale. It's a perfect time to update to Windows 10 with huge deals on business computers featuring Intel Core processors, plus free shipping on everything. Call Small Business Technology Advisors who can help you achieve your business goals affordably with low monthly payments on the right tech for you. Just call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL, or visit Dell.com/business deals for semi-annual savings.
It's really a sad day for our country, actually. I feel very sad about it. And I hope that the Republicans will join us, as they have joined in the Senate in unanimous consent, passing a resolution for the release of the information.
That's House Speaker Nancy Pelosi speaking about the impeachment inquiry. We'll hear more about that in just a moment with Rasa Kay. Car cutting is the new cord cutting. Those who are tempted to merge into the car-free trend to reduce their carbon footprint or to save themselves over $9,000 a year on gas, maintenance, tires, insurance, license, and registration costs and other related expenses will have the easiest time in San Francisco. CityLab has taken a look at the best cities for living car-free and found that the Bay Area tops the largest metros for living car-free. Data measured include the share of households without access to their own vehicle, the share of commuters who take mass transit to work, and the share of commuters who walk or bike to work. Boston was the second top major metro area for cutting the car, followed by New York City. The cities that round out the top 10 are Washington, Philadelphia, Chicago, Seattle, Portland, Pittsburgh, and Los Angeles. It's 9 minutes before the hour. Rasa Kay is here with more of America's First News.
Well, Jen, the House is moving forward with a formal impeachment inquiry against President Trump. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi made the announcement late yesterday after a House Democratic caucus meeting, saying no one is above the law.
Press reports began to break of a phone call by the President of the United States calling upon a foreign power to intervene in his election. This is a breach of his constitutional responsibilities.
Trump fired off a series of tweets calling the move presidential harassment and a witch hunt. Trump says he'll release a full unedited transcript of that crucial call with Ukraine's president at the heart of that whistleblower complaint. Trump has admitted publicly he asked President Zelensky to probe Joe Biden's son, who has connections to a business that was under investigation, but he says no pressure was involved. Vice President Biden says it comes down to national security, not politics.
It is time for this administration to stop stonewalling and provide the Congress with all the facts it needs, including a copy of the formal complaint made by the whistleblower. And it's time for the Congress to fully investigate the conduct of this president.
It's Tomorrow, Acting Director of National Intelligence Joseph Maguire is scheduled to appear before House and Senate committees. Trump used his address before the United Nations General Assembly to denounce globalists and socialists while taking aim at China, Venezuela, and Iran.
All nations have a duty to act. No responsible government